another episode of Clash of the Horns, and I went a little way back to when the Rams, the last time they had a winning season in LA was 1989, and then back in St. Louis in 2003. Now we finally have our first winning season since then. Officially LA Rams 89, St. Louis Rams 2003. Now LA Rams now are looking very good, and they're looking just as good as they were back in the day. Defensively, this team was playing very well against the Arizona Cardinals. And this is going to be a 2-for-1 episode. I was kind of lagging on prior to this, but now that we're here right now, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals game. And the way that the Rams won this game was mainly because all aspects of this team were playing very good. Defensively, offensively, special teams. You know, never underestimate your special team. That's one of the things that really brought to my attention this season is the importance of a good special team. And the Rams have had a very good special team throughout this whole year. I mean, I think we are the #1 special teams unit in the NFL. Move that with, I think, the second best scoring offense, really good running back, very good receiving core. I think we are one of the best pass catching receiving cores in the NFL. It's been a long time that we've been able to say that. And then obviously a great head coach for an offensive coordinator as well, Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay, and then Wade Phillips, our defensive coordinator. So we have a really good team going into this game against the Arizona Cardinals, a game that I knew we could win, but I never try to underestimate my opponent. But I was very confident in winning this game. We played them very good in the UK. I thought for sure we can play them very good in Arizona. So one thing about this game is that crowd was loud for Arizona. That crowd was trying to win them this game. And you heard the screaming and yelling on third down, and it was chaotic for the Rams at the beginning of the game. And rightly so. This team needs to be familiar with that kind of environment, especially in their way to the playoffs. And they're going to be playing teams that are going to be very loud. You saw the way that they played against the Vikings. It was very disruptive. I think that's maybe one of the reasons also why the Vikings won that game. And that's one of the reasons they were sort of struggling, not early on in this game, but about the second quarter, where the Arizona Cardinals were trying to come back to this game, and they got louder and louder and louder, and the Rams looked like they were losing this game mentally, and then they came back after the second half. So let's start off with the Rams offense. And the Rams offense started off hot from the very beginning. A great touchdown pass to Gerald Everett, who I think has been very underutilized in this team, mainly because Tyler Higbee has been given the majority of the snaps. Could be because of his blocking is not very good yet. You know, Tyler Higbee has the edge. But when it comes to catching, touchdown passes or getting those third down conversions or down the field passing that Sean McVay likes to do, Gerald Everett is that type of tight end. And that's one of the reasons why we drafted him, because of his good catching ability, his 1v1 challenges. He's better against a smaller corner. So we put him in that type of situation. He's going to give you that touchdown. So a great pass by Jared Goff, a great play call by Sean McVay, and the Rams ran the football very comfortably in this game. There's one thing about Sean McVay that kind of bugs me is the way that he abandons the run, but he does a very good job creating screen passes. I think that's one of the things he likes to do. Is I think he feels more comfortable throwing the ball to Todd Gurley than handing him the ball, mainly because he thinks he could probably get him in open space. That might be a thing. And he did a very good job in this game doing so. Todd Gurley had a couple of good receptions down the field, especially on third down, and he was very well utilized against this Arizona defense. So I think there was this one play where he got picked off, and then they did the same exact play but on the opposite side, and it went down the field for about 30-40 yards. So it's one of those things where if you live by the pass, you're going to die by the pass. If you get picked off, it sucks. If you get a good screen pass down the field, it could be a scoring opportunity or a very good down the field play. One thing I want to touch about this Rams offensive line is look at Roger Saffold. He has been one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. Also with Andrew Whitworth, of course, and also don't overlook John Sullivan's performance. Very good left side of the offensive line, and a very great improving tackle when it comes to Rob Havingstein, and also Jamon Brown is doing a good job. This is possibly, I think the Rams are the only offensive line in the NFL to have all their starting linemen start every single game. So we're doing a good job in that aspect. And I know for sure if one of those guys goes down, other than Andrew Whitworth, I think we will be okay. Because sometimes these guys get beat up and they still put a substitute, and they do a fairly good job running the football and protecting Jared Goff. And Goff has had a great amount of time to throw the ball down the field, and he is one of the elite quarterbacks when throwing down the field, especially those long down the field passes. He has been one of the best, if not the best, quarterback to do so this year. So you've seen Jared Goff's progression, and against the Arizona Cardinals, he did a great job, escaping, getting down the field, throwing down to Cooper Kupp, certain instances, throwing the ball down to Josh Reynolds and also Sammy Watkins, except for that one play that got the ball stripped from his hands, but we still fell on top of that ball. That's one of the reasons why we have to be very careful throwing the ball down the field too much, because we might be blitzed and eventually they're going to get to your quarterback, so you have to be able to run and throw the football down the field. But I think offensively we did a very good job. Jared Goff, I think, had about 2 touchdowns, about 250 plus yards throwing the ball down the field. So I have nothing but the utmost respect for what Sean McVay has done, giving us his first winning season since 2003. And I think he should be coach of the year, but it's all up to the NFL, quote unquote, experts in the NFL, the way they do things. So defensively, we were all over Blaine Gabbert. We were all over this supposedly very good offense, very good quarterback that had one good game against the Jags, and then I guess he was like the next coming of Tom Brady. But we humbled the Arizona Cardinals fans. A lot of them really thought that they were gonna, beat us because they finally have an okay quarterback, and we put them in their place. The Rams defensive line, the front seven, they're just very, very good. I mean, you saw what Alec Ogletree did. He went down trying to contain him to not run, and then he throws the ball down the field, and then Alec Ogletree intercepts that to it for a touchdown. And then you saw Aaron Donald, Robert Quinn, Longacre, all these guys got sacks. I think Michael Brocker's got a sack as well. So you saw how disruptive that front seven can be. And also another underrated stat is the Rams secondary is one of the best in the NFL, and that's, I think, the Wade Phillips effect, because we apply so much pressure in different ways that we force quarterbacks to throw in very poor to throw very poor balls down the field, and very poor decision making from Blaine Gabbert. The very first throw he throws down the field, and it's picked up by LaMarcus Joyner, who I think is second to Aaron Donald in being the second most of disruptive player in that Rams team, and very underrated in safety. So I think he did a great job adjusting his speed and his body to get the interception and go down the field for about 30 to 40 yards. And that's one of the things the Rams are very good at, is giving this offense that's already good at scoring and going down the field some more help going down the field and scoring some more points. So whether that's special teams or defense, they're doing a great job, and they did a very good job against the Arizona Cardinals. I think my MVP for this game against the Cardinals was Aaron Donald, and second was LaMarcus Joyner, a close second. LaMarcus Joyner was all over down the field, applying big hits, disruptive plays, and also the interception. He probably could have gotten 2. I think there was another instance where he could have gotten another interception. Offensively, it has to go to Jared Goff, and I think another good game ball has to go to the offensive line. They did a good job protecting Jared Goff. There was one time they got that sack on Jared Goff, but those are going to happen when you pass the ball too damn much and not running the ball. Eventually, they're going to come after your quarterback. So I think offensive linemen did a great job, and also Jared Goff. Not really the home run plays that we're used to against this secondary, very good Arizona Cardinals secondary, but the Rams still move the ball down the field very comfortably. And I'm going to start off the next portion of this video, the Eagles part, with the trailer, and hopefully you guys like that. Thank you guys for watching this portion of the video. It's mainly not the portion you wanted to see, but it's one that I wanted to make because I didn't want people to think, well, I'm not very happy about the winning season. I'm super happy about the Rams' first winning season since 2003. I was in the 6th grade. I was a little kid when the Rams were very good, and now I'm finally an adult talking about how they could possibly go in the playoffs and be the sleeper team in the playoffs and hopefully get into that Super Bowl and get that first Super Bowl in LA for the Rams. So other than that, you guys watch the trailer, and then I'll come back to you with the Eagles portion.
The Los Angeles Rams select Jared Goff. Philadelphia Eagles select Carson Wentz.
Good, you ready to be an Eagle?
Yes, sir. You want to be an LA Ram?
Absolutely, can't wait.
I'm looking at Wentz right now. I'm looking at Goff right now. And my eyeballs tell me that these two quarterbacks are going to be something special.
We drafted him for the long term.
Carson Wentz, I believe, is super special.
I don't know if anybody saw this coming.
And look, I'm stunned by what Jared Goff
We all are.
right?
We all are. Jared Goff looked pretty damn good.
This kid's good. This kid's accurate. I mean, this kid is really good.
Now, this is going to be the game of this week, Rams versus Eagles, and it's got all the hype to it. It's got all the excitement. Fox is going to be out there, and they said that it's going to be out. They're going to be out there like if it were a college game. That's how many people are going to be there. That's how much excitement there is for this game, and rightfully so. These are the two quarterbacks from last year, 1 and 2, going head to head against each other. And prior to the season starting, I said, hopefully the Rams really progress and can be competitive against the Eagles. Now I think they can beat the Eagles. Not underestimating the Eagles, but I think they have what it takes to beat a team like the Eagles. And when Jared Goff and Carson Wentz meet next time, I hope for sure both of these teams are at their tip-top best, and that's exactly what's happening. Both of the teams are at their very best right now. Even though Eagles did lose against the Seahawks, do not underestimate this Eagles team. That's one of the things you can do. And one of the reasons why is because of Carson Wentz. And he's a leader for that football team, just like Jared Goff is a leader for this football team. Even though he's more of a silent leader, he leads by example rather than out there hyping people up. I still feel like these are the two teams, to me, that have shown the most improvement from last year. Not only because of the quarterbacks, but because of the overall team and overall progression, coaching staff, you name it. Everything has been very good for these teams. Both fan bases should be very excited and should be very happy for the the performances from both of these quarterbacks. Now, going into this game, you saw the storylines behind these two players prior to getting drafted from their team. You saw Jared Goff being said that his record in college wasn't that impressive, that he was really overhyped to being a #1 overall pick, that the Rams gave up way too much for a quarterback for Jared Goff. And now you have seen what Jared Goff can do with a competent head coach. And another thing, they talked about his hand size. Like, come on, dude. They were already hating on Jared Goff before going into the NFL. Then you see what they can do with the Sean McVay, Jared Goff combination being 1 and 2, if not the best or second best offense in the NFL. From going from worst to first, literally, the Rams have made one of the biggest jumps in NFL history. Then you have the Eagles and Carson Wentz's story. Very humble player from North Dakota State. Cool guy, seemed to me like to be a very good football player from a team, a college that nobody really knew about other than Eagles fans or Rams fans looking into his story. And then the headlines were that he wasn't going to be very good in the NFL because of the competition he didn't face, that he faced too easy competition in college. And then he went into the NFL last year, started off very hot, 5-0, and then kind of died off from that. And then this year going 10-2. And they were #1 team in the NFL for a bunch of weeks until last week. And going into this game, Carson Wentz to me and Jared Goff have both been very good leaders for their football team and have really moved these two franchises forward, and the fans should be very excited. Now, going into this team, you have both teams with a very good offense. The Eagles have a very good rushing offense. The Rams have a very good passing offense, and they have an average to sort of top tier rushing offense, the Rams do, but then you have the Eagles who have a sort of top tier passing offense, so they kind of balance each other out. And then you have defensively, you have Aaron Donald, Fletcher Cox. Both have a very good front seven. I think Barnett is their first overall pick from this year's draft on the Eagles. So they have a good defensive end. They have some really good linebackers who have been very good tacklers. I'm not very familiar with the Eagles defense, other than Rodney McLeod and Chris Long. But when it comes to the Rams defense, you still have a really good secondary. You have a really good front seven. Obviously, Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers, Tanzel Smart, and then the linebacker core. We have so many first-round picks in our defense and a second-round pick. So we have a good assembled defense under Wade Phillips. So I still feel like these two teams balance each other out. I honestly feel like these two teams are very good. The Eagles have a thing where they are really good stopping the defense, the rushing, stopping running backs from getting a lot of yards. I think they're the number 1 or number 2 rushing defense. They can stop the run. They can be very disruptive in the air. But the Rams have one thing in that's their pass defense. And they get interceptions. They can deflect footballs. They're very disruptive. Not only that, but you have our defensive line who gets a bunch of sacks. I mean, last week against the Arizona Cardinals, they were all over Blaine Gabbert, and they had a good game plan stopping Blaine Gabbert from running outside the pocket. That's one of the things I will see if Alec Ogletree comes back, is having him spy on Carson Wentz and stopping him from running the ball when the pocket kind of collapses, and then he has to face a guy like Aaron Donald or Robert Quinn, Mark Barron, guys like that. That's one thing I really hope Wade Phillips can really do against a team like the Eagles, is stopping Wentz from being a player that's about to get sacked to being a player that can run outside the pocket and create plays out of nothing. That's my number 1 fear in this game, is having Carson Wentz be that Russell Wilson. That's my main concern. If we can, I really feel like we can stop the run, because we can do it against teams like the Saints. We've done it against teams like the Vikings. Even though we did lose that game against the Vikings, that was mainly because of our secondary. Then you have games where the Rams literally stopped everything, like the pass and the running. So I still feel confident in my team's able to come out with a victory. Now, this is the thing also, the home field advantage. The Rams are going to have a lot of fans out there, but being that it's LA, they have a lot of fans from outside cities. So Eagles travel fairly well. You saw what they did against the Chargers. They just dominated the Chargers, and that's nothing to be proud about. I mean, the Chargers are the Chargers, and nobody in LA likes the Chargers. The Rams are in another different case, where the Rams have a lot of fans in LA, but they also have another fans from other fan bases. So it's going to be a packed house. I think it's going to be a sold out environment. It's going to be super loud, and the Rams have to be on their tippy toes to face an Eagles team that has a good traveling fan base. Now, one thing about the Rams that they have the edge on is their special teams. And Greg Zuerlein is the best kicker in the NFL this year. We also have the best punter, Johnny Hecker, and from what I've seen stat-wise, we have the best kickoff return, punt returner, and Farrell Cooper, who in our defense should, if not, give us this win, because both of these teams are so fairly matched when it comes to offense and defense. I think the upper edge is going to be our special teams. Unless their special teams really comes up and outperforms ours, I think we should win, but it's going to be a close win. I don't want to give you guys a score, because every time I give you guys a score, I kind of jinx it and we lose. So I'm not going to do that. But I still feel confident in this team. But don't be surprised, like I said, if Carson Wentz comes out here making some big throws down the field, just like Jared Goff does. That's one of the things, though. Like I said, Jared Goff can also come outside the pocket, not as well as Carson Wentz, But I've seen many instances where it looks like he's about to get sacked, does a move outside the pocket, throws down a Cooper Kupp or throws down a Todd Gurley, gets those passes down the field, and they can be very big indicators in winning this football team against the Eagles. If we can kind of do what the Eagles did, and that's kind of like create plays out of nothing, I think we can get the upper edge. And I've seen a lot of that coming from Jared Goff in Arizona. There was a bunch of first downs that he threw down the field to Cooper Kupp, and he threw it down to Carrier. He threw it down to Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett. He does what Jared Goff does is throw to his tight end, slot receiver, Todd Gurley on third down. That's what I've noticed a lot from him, is he doesn't force it down the field smartly. What he does is he throws it down to his tight ends, slot corner. The most reliable pass catchers on third down. So that's one of the things the Rams have to do is stay feeding Gurley. Play action pass. If it ain't working, screen pass to Todd Gurley or down the field to one of the open wide receivers. If it ain't working with running the football, and that's something they do very well, the Eagles stopping the run, is play action pass the ball. That's the most success I have seen the Rams do are on play action. And I'm pretty sure Sean McVay is going to be doing what he does best and having a great game plan for this Rams healthy offense to move down the field. If not, win this game with scoring touchdowns, get those field goals, because those are going to matter in the end of the game, especially with the good offense that the Eagles have. But I think one of the most indicating things for the Rams to do to win this game, and I'm going to name them 3. Special teams has to come out and ball. 2, contain Carson Wentz inside the pocket and let the defensive line and edge rushers do their job. And I think being that Samson Ebukam is getting more reps, that's going to help the Rams in the long run, because he is an athletic freak, man. This guy can push your offensive lineman back to your quarterback, and I saw that against Arizona. And then another thing, the last thing is protect Jared Goff. I honestly think if they can stop the run, but we can play action pass down the field, I think Jared Goff is good enough to beat many football teams. And I think Eagles secondary is not their strong suit. Their strong suit is their defensive line. So play action pass. If you can do that, you can win this game. Special teams come out and play, contain Carson Wentz in the pocket. Not necessarily, intercept him all the time or sack him all the time. Keep him inside the pocket, let him force throws, and stop the run. That's what I'm talking about. Just stop Carson Wentz. Stop him. Next thing is make sure play action pass. They have to do the play action. Every time they do a play action pass, it's always a first down or second and short every single damn time. Other than that, you guys, thank you guys for listening to this. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys have fun at the Eagles game. And to tell you the truth, I really feel excited. I think it's going to be one of the best games in the NFL of this year. And can't wait to see what the outcome comes out to be. Other than that, you guys, thank you guys for watching the Clash of the Horns, a 2-for-1 special just for you.